The Spartan general has read the intelligence reports from Baltimore and Los Angeles. He knows what worked. He knows what didn't. He has crossed the Atlantic, landed on the Kent coast, and is now marching northwest along a road toward London. He has also read the intelligence report about the previous visitor to this road. 6 weeks ago, a Roman legion marched this exact route. The same road, the same direction, the same destination. The Romans built this road. The Romans built London. The Romans are the one civilization in the ancient world that the Spartans never defeated, never faced in open battle, and never fully understood. The Spartan general who beat Baltimore and walked away from Los Angeles is now entering a city built by the people his civilization spent 400 years competing with, and he has one question that no military briefing has answered. If the Romans built this city, what does it tell him about Rome? 10,000 Spartan warriors are 70 miles from London. The general is not thinking about the city. He is thinking about the builders. The Spartan column lands at Pegwell Bay in Kent at 3 a.m., the same beach where the Roman legion landed 6 weeks. Earlier, the same beach where the Roman Emperor Claudius landed his invasion force in 43 AD. The British military, which has now handled 2 ancient army landings in 6 weeks, activates its response protocol at 3:09 a.m. with considerably more efficiency than the first time. The alert goes to Downing Street, the Ministry of Defense, and NATO headquarters simultaneously. The British Army's 1st Division, which was still conducting its post-Roman after-action review when the Spartan landing was detected, has updated its defensive plans based on everything that happened 6 weeks ago. The general officer commanding the 1st Division says in his briefing to the Defense Secretary at 4 a.m., "We know what to expect. We are better prepared than last time." What he does not know, what no one in the British military command structure knows, is that the Spartan general has read the same after-action reports. The Romans shared their campaign intelligence through channels the NSA monitored. The Spartans have read every British defensive decision from the Roman campaign. They know about the M25 perimeter. They know it failed. They know why. The Spartan column advances northwest from Pegwell Bay along the A2, the modern road built on the foundations of Watling Street, the Roman road that connected the Kent coast to Londinium in 43 AD. The Spartan soldiers marching on this road are marching on Roman construction. The straight lines, the careful grading, the drainage ditches on either side, all built to Roman military engineering specifications. The Spartan engineers in the column examine the road surface as they march. Their assessment, communicated to the general by mid-morning, is 3 words: adequate but Roman. The general keeps marching. The distinction matters to him in a way it would not matter to anyone else on this campaign. Sparta and Rome never fought each other directly, but they existed in the same world, competed for the same strategic space in the Mediterranean, and built 2 entirely different civilizations on 2 entirely different ideas. Rome built roads, Sparta built soldiers. Rome created infrastructure that lasted 2,000 years. Sparta created warriors that every military in the subsequent 2,000 years tried to copy. The general marching on a Roman road toward a Roman city is thinking about which approach was right. He has not reached a conclusion. The British defensive perimeter at the M25 motorway is stronger than anything the Romans encountered 6 weeks ago. The 1st Division has 800 soldiers on the line, double the Roman deployment, with the perimeter extending 6 kilometers on each flank, covering every approach route the Roman campaign identified as vulnerable. The general receives his scout report of the M25 line at 8 a.m., studies it for 9 minutes, and then does something that surprises his senior officers. He does not look for the flanks. He stops the entire column and sends a single messenger forward under a branch of parley, the ancient Greek signal for negotiation. The British commander on the M25 line, watching on drone feed as 10,000 Spartan warriors stop dead in the road and send one unarmed man forward, gets on the radio to the 1st Division headquarters and says, "They've stopped. They want to talk." The message the Spartan messenger delivers, translated through the NSA interpreter chain that has been active since the landing, is not a demand. It is a question. The message reads, "We know about your defensive line. We know it extends 6 kilometers on each flank. We know you doubled the force from the Roman deployment. Tell your general we are impressed. Ask him if we can come through without doing this the hard way. We have questions about the city that fighting you will not answer." The British commander's response takes 40 minutes. 40 minutes of phone calls between the M25 line, 1st Division headquarters, the Ministry of Defense, and 10 Downing Street. The Prime Minister, who handled the Roman campaign 6 weeks ago and is deeply familiar with how these negotiations end, makes the decision in 8 minutes. The answer goes back through the interpreter chain. "Come through, but your weapons stay sheathed until you reach London." The Spartan column advances through the M25 perimeter at 10:15 a.m. with their spears upright and their shields on their backs. The Spartan signal of non-hostile advance, a posture the British soldiers on the line have never seen but somehow understand immediately. The British commander, watching 10,000 warriors in red cloaks march through his defensive line in perfect formation without a weapon raised, writes in his log afterward, "I have commanded soldiers for 24 years. I have never felt simultaneously more relieved and more aware of my own insignificance." The Spartan vanguard enters the city of London, the ancient square mile of the original Londinium. At noon, the general advances with the vanguard on foot. He enters the same streets the Roman general walked 6 weeks ago. He sees the same things. The Roman wall sections visible where modern construction has exposed the ancient stonework, the street pattern following the original Roman grid, the foundations of buildings that are Roman foundations. But the Spartan general's reaction is different from the Roman general's. The Roman general recognized the city of London because his institution built it. It was homecoming. The Spartan general examines the city of London the way a military historian examines a battlefield, systematically, analytically, looking for what the construction tells him about the builders. He stops at a section of the Roman wall, the 3rd century AD defensive wall that still stands in fragments beneath the modern city, and spends 11 minutes examining the stonework. His chief engineering officer stands beside him. The general runs his hand along the wall. He says, "How long has this been standing?" His interpreter checks with the British liaison officer. The answer comes back, 1,700 years. The general is quiet for a long time. Then he says, "We would have built it differently." His engineering officer asks, "Better?" The general says, "No, just differently." The Spartan camp is established in Hyde Park, the same location the Roman legion used 6 weeks earlier. The Roman camp's fortification marks are still partially visible in the grass. The outline of the perimeter ditch, the position of the gate structures, the orientation of the internal layout. The Spartan engineers, arriving at Hyde Park and finding the ghost of the Roman camp still marked in the ground, do something unexpected. They orient their own camp on the same axis as the Roman one, not because they have to, because, as the Spartan engineering commander explains to the general, the Roman engineers chose the optimal position within Hyde Park, and there is no reason to choose a different one. The general approves. The Spartan camp goes up inside the footprint of the Roman camp. 2 armies from the same era, the same civilization, the same world, who never shared a camp in their own time, are sharing one now, 1,000 years later, in a park in London. The general's personal reconnaissance of London on day 2 follows the same route the Roman general took 6 weeks earlier, through the city, along the Thames, through Southwark. But he adds one stop the Roman general made that he has specifically requested to see. He goes to the Museum of London. He spends 4 hours inside. The Roman general spent 3 hours in the same museum 6 weeks ago. The museum staff, who have now guided 2 ancient generals through the Roman galleries in 6 weeks, note that the Spartan general's behavior in the galleries is completely different from the Roman general's. The Roman general looked at the objects with recognition, with the expression of someone seeing their own belongings displayed behind glass. The Spartan general looks at the objects with something closer to forensic interest. He examines each artifact not as a cultural relic but as evidence, a Roman gladius, a Roman helmet, a Roman scutum shield. He picks up or attempts to pick up, before a museum curator intervenes, a replica Roman spear to compare it to his own dory. The curator, a 34-year-old specialist in Roman military equipment, who has spent her career studying these objects, watches the Spartan general handle the replica and later tells her colleagues. He was assessing it, like an engineer looking at a competitor's product. On day 3, the Spartan general requests a meeting with the British Foreign Secretary, the same diplomat who negotiated the Roman withdrawal 6 weeks ago. The meeting takes place at the Guildhall, the same location as the Roman negotiation, on the Spartan general's specific request. He has been told this is where the Roman negotiation happened. He wants the same room. The Foreign Secretary, who spent 11 days negotiating with the Roman general and thought she had seen everything ancient warfare could produce, sits across the table from the Spartan general and asks through the interpreter chain what he wants. The general says, "I want to understand something about the Romans." She says, "I'm not sure I'm the right person to ask." He says, "You negotiated with them. You watched them walk through their own city. You saw what they were. Tell me, were they proud of what they built?" She considers this for a long time. Then she says, "Yes, but not the way a soldier is proud of a victory. More the way a parent is proud of a child that grew up to be something they never expected." The general is quiet. Then he says, "That is not how we would have felt." She says, "I know. That's the difference between you." The request comes on day 5, and it is the same request the Roman general made 6 weeks earlier. The Spartan general wants to see Hadrian's wall. The British Foreign Secretary, receiving the request through the interpreter chain, stares at it for a moment before calling the Prime Minister. The Prime Minister says, "The Roman general asked for the same thing." The Foreign Secretary says, "I know, the convoy is arranged. The same route north to Northumberland, the same Housesteads fort, the same British Army liaison colonel from the Royal Engineers who accompanied the Roman general, who specifically requested to be part of this convoy because he has spent the 6 weeks since the Roman visit trying to process what he witnessed and believes the Spartan visit might help." The Spartan general and his officers arrive at Housesteads fort at midday. The general walks the same ground the Roman general walked, the same barracks, the same granaries, the same headquarters building foundations, the same northern wall looking out over the Northumberland hills toward Scotland. He stands where the Roman general stood. He is quiet for a long time. The liaison colonel, standing at the same respectful distance he maintained 6 weeks ago, watches and waits. The Spartan general turns around. He looks at the colonel. He says, through the interpreter, "What did the Roman general say when he stood here?" The colonel recites it from memory, the sentence from the classified report he has read 50 times. He said, "They held this for 300 years. We should be proud of them." The Spartan general turns back to face the north. He says nothing for 4 minutes. Then he says, he was right to be proud. They were, and so were we. The withdrawal agreement is signed at the Guildhall on day 7. The Spartan terms are the same as Baltimore, simple, clean, no demands for documentation or acknowledgement. The general asks for one thing only. He asks that the Museum of London add one line to the display cards in the Roman military galleries. One line noting that the objects were examined in 2026 by soldiers of a contemporary army who recognized them as the work of worthy opponents. The Foreign Secretary agrees immediately. The museum curator agrees with even more enthusiasm than the Roman request 6 weeks earlier. The dual ancient army visits have produced the highest museum attendance in its history, and the curator is already planning a permanent exhibition. The withdrawal march south through London follows Watling Street, the Roman road, the same route the Spartan column marched north on. The London public lines the streets, as it did for the Roman withdrawal. But this time there is something different in the crowd. They have done this before. 6 weeks ago they watched the Romans leave and felt something profound and complicated and hard to name. Today, watching the Spartans march south on the same road, they feel something simpler. They feel like a city that has been chosen twice, and whatever it means to be chosen by the two greatest armies of the ancient world. For the same road, the same destination, the same ending, it means something that London, a city built on 2,000 years of being exactly what it is, understands better than any city on earth. Every city in this series has revealed something. Baltimore revealed that courage can be written into an anthem. Los Angeles revealed that a civilization can be built entirely on the decision to stay. London revealed something harder and stranger. It revealed what happens when two rival civilizations send their best soldiers to the same place and ask the same questions. The Romans came to London and found a city they built, a homecoming. The Spartans came to London and found a city their rivals built, and spent 7 days studying it like a text they needed to understand. The Spartan general who ran his hand along a Roman wall that has been standing for 700 years and said, "We would have built it differently," was not being dismissive, he was being honest. Sparta and Rome were not the same civilization. They valued different things. They built different things. They left different legacies. Rome left roads and walls and cities that are still standing. Sparta left a standard of human excellence, of discipline, of endurance, of the willingness to hold a position past the point of reason, that every military in the world still measures itself against. Neither legacy is greater than the other. They are different answers to the same question. What is a civilization for? The Spartan general who stood at Hadrian's wall and said they were right to be proud, and so were we, was not conceding anything. He was recognizing something. The Romans built the wall. The Spartans would have held it. Subscribe, because part 4 is coming, and the next city is going to make both of them look small.